As someone who has worked in the world of drama production for quite some time, I've seen a lot of co-stars on screen. Some are awkward in the beginning, some are so professional that there is no interaction at all outside the scene, and there are also those whose relationship is so natural that the line between acting and reality is blurred. But, among all the couples I've seen, none can match the cuteness and warmth shared by Dylan Wang and Bai Lu during the filming process of their latest drama. Every day on the set feels like watching a real version of a romantic comedy show. Dylan Wang, who has been known as an actor with a cool aura and masculine charisma, turned out to have an unusually strong children's side. And that was the side that came out whenever he was around Bai Lu. Not only did she look comfortable, but she really looked like herself, free, cheerful, and without the professional mask that big stars usually maintain. I still remember the first day they met for a script reading. All the crew sat in a circle in the rehearsal room, and the atmosphere was a bit formal. But it only took a few minutes for Dylan to start breaking the mood. Somehow, he managed to make everyone laugh with just a small comment about how Bai Lu marked his script with a colorful highlighter. From there, I could see the seeds of a relaxed and fun relationship begin to grow between them. During the early weeks of filming, their chemistry developed rapidly. Usually, it takes time for actors to adjust to their co-stars, especially for large projects that demand emotional and physical closeness. But for Dylan and Bai Lu, everything felt natural. They are like two magnets that instinctively know how to fill the space between them. Every time the camera stops recording, the atmosphere in the location becomes more lively. Dylan, who seemed to never be able to keep quiet, always had a way to make Bai Lu laugh. Sometimes he copied the director's style of speech, sometimes he pretended to fall only for the crew to turn to him, and often he looked at Bai Lu with a pretended innocent expression after making a small mess. Bai Lu, who was famous for her bright and spontaneous personality, of course, did not remain silent. He replied with a sharp comment wrapped in a sweet laugh, and the two soon dissolved into an atmosphere full of laughter. From a distance, I often noticed how Dylan's attitude changed every time Bai Lu was present. It is more expressive, more open, and even more patient. Usually, Dylan is known to be a little sensitive when a take repeatedly fails, but with Bai Lu, he seemed to enjoy every repetition. Maybe because in every mistake, there is always a funny moment that they can share. Even in hot weather, when all the crew seemed exhausted, Dylan was still able to turn the atmosphere into lightness with his ridiculous jokes. There was one moment that stuck most in my memory. That day we filmed outdoor scenes under the scorching sun. Everyone already looked tired. Bai Lu was sitting on a chair while fanning her face with a script, and Dylan, who saw that, suddenly ran towards the property table. He took the huge fan that was supposed to be used for the wind effect in another scene, then turned it right towards Bai Lu in a hero-like style that saved someone from the heat. Everyone on site laughed, including Bai Lu, who couldn't help but smile even though her hair was falling apart due to the strong gusts of wind. The spontaneous act reveals a side of Dylan that is rarely seen in public. Innocent, caring, and full of humor. He's not trying to grab the attention of the camera, he's not looking for compliments, he just wants to make it fun. From there, I began to realize one important thing. Dylan Wang really was comfortable. Comfort is not only seen from the way he jokes, but also from his body language. He no longer maintained a formal distance with Bai Lu as the actor used to do with his co-stars. He stood closer, laughed more freely, and often looked at Bai Lu with an expression that only appeared when one felt safe to be himself. Bai Lu also seemed to understand Dylan's rhythm perfectly. He did not feel disturbed by Dylan's childish behavior, instead often responding with a small laugh or a sincere smile. Their off-camera relationship looks like two old friends who know each other well, knowing when to flirt, when to get serious, and when to make room. One afternoon, when filming was almost over, the atmosphere on set was so calm. The sun began to fall, and an orange glow fell on the faces of the crew. In the middle of that moment, I saw Dylan standing behind the monitor while watching Bai Lu, who was going through an emotional scene. No smiles this time, no jokes. Just an attentive look. When the director shouted, "Cut!" Dylan approached and casually offered a bottle of water. No words were spoken, but the little gesture felt so natural. In the entertainment world, It is difficult to find a balanced working relationship between professionalism and personal warmth. Many of the co-star couples appear friendly in front of the camera, but cold behind the scenes. However, Dylan and Bai Lu showed something different. They can joke without losing focus, can laugh without interrupting work, and can make everyone around them feel comfortable. Their proximity also had a huge impact on the entire crew. The positive energy they radiate is contagious to everyone. Every time I shoot with them, the atmosphere is lighter. Even long days seem to pass quickly. The director often said that the two brought light to the set, not only because of their talent, but because of the humble attitude and sincere laughter with which they never left. The funny thing is that Dylan's childlike behavior sometimes makes the filming process longer than it should be. He often made Bai Lu laugh in the middle of serious scenes. There are times when they have to repeat a scene more than 5 times just because they can't help but laugh. But oddly enough, not a single crew member complained. Precisely, those moments that make everyone feel closer. Dylan had a unique habit. Whenever Bai Lu finished doing a heavy scene, he would try to cheer her up with silly things. Sometimes she danced in a strange style behind the camera, sometimes hiding Bai Lu's drinking bottle just to see her reaction. But there was always a warm feeling behind his behavior. Not just a whim, but a small form of attention. He knew when Bai Lu needed a laugh, and when he needed to be quiet to make room. Bai Lu herself seemed to enjoy every moment of it. He once told us that working with Dylan felt like playing while working. He can be himself without fear of being judged, can be cheerful without being considered unprofessional. And maybe that's why their on-screen chemistry feels so alive, because what they're showing isn't a sham, but a reflection of a really close relationship behind the camera. Among all the funny things I've seen, one of the most memorable moments was when Dylan tried to make Bai Lu laugh in the artificial rain. That day, the romantic scene they shot was quite difficult due to the cold temperature and wet clothes. But Dylan, instead of complaining, dances in the rain while making funny expressions. Bai Lu laughed until her tears mixed with raindrops on the cheeks, and everyone on the set got carried away. Even the director finally decided to take one of those moments because it looks so natural and honest. From my point of view, Dylan Wang showed his most human side when he was with Bai Lu. He is not only a skilled actor, but also a warm and pleasant figure. He is not afraid to look ridiculous, does not try to maintain an impeccable image. He knew that happiness on set could make the end result more beautiful, and in his own way, he created that atmosphere. When I compared Dylan to him at the beginning of his career, the difference was obvious. He used to be known to be quiet and a little closed to new people. But with Bai Lu, he seemed to have completely changed. There is freedom in his way of laughing. There is honesty in his every action. As if Bai Lu's presence opened up a side of her that had been hidden all along. Whenever the crew gathered for lunch together, Dylan and Bai Lu always sat next to each other. They don't always talk, but the small interactions between them, sharing food, flirting with each other through expressions, are enough to show how comfortable the relationship is. No impression is made, just two people enjoying each other's existence. The longer I watched them, the more I was convinced that this kind of closeness could not be forced. There is something sincere between them, something that grows out of laughter, togetherness, and mutual respect. Dylan's childlike jokes are not a form of immaturity, but rather a sign that he feels safe. Only when a person feels truly accepted does he dare to show his most innocent side. Whenever filming ended, Dylan always made sure that Bai Lu was okay. Sometimes he prepared an umbrella when it rained, sometimes just making sure Bai Lu's chair wasn't dirty before sitting down. Such little things may seem trivial, but for those of us who are watching from afar, they all clearly illustrate one thing: comfort and sincere care. The last day of filming became the perfect finale of their journey. After the final scene was over, the entire crew gathered to applaud. Dylan and Bai Lu stood side by side, staring at each other with smiles that were hard to hide. No words were said, but the atmosphere was so warm. Everyone knows they've come a long way, not just as co-stars, but as two human beings who truly enjoy each other's company. When I left the location that day, I had time to look back. In the crowd, I saw Dylan still joking with Bai Lu while laughing out loud. He imitated Bai Lu's gait in a funny way, and Bai Lu replied with a feigned expression of anger. At first glance, they look like two little kids playing in the park, not two big stars with a busy schedule. And therein lies its charm. Behind the camera, among all the busy lighting and directors, there are little moments that are so human. Dylan Wang is no longer an actor who keeps his distance, but a man who has found a safe space to be himself. And Bai Lu, in her gentle and cheerful manner, became the reason why the space felt so comfortable. As someone who witnessed all this from the beginning, I can say one thing for sure. Their chemistry is not the result of practice, not the result of directorial direction, but the result of a naturally growing relationship. Dylan jokes like a child, not because he wants to appear funny, but because he no longer needs to pretend. He's comfortable. He's happy. And behind the laughter that is constantly heard on the set, there is a beauty that can only be understood by those who dare to be themselves. Perhaps that is why every scene they produce feels alive and warm. Because every laugh, every look, and every little moment behind the scenes is a reflection of the relationship of two people who really enjoy their company. And for those of us watching from behind the camera, it's not just a job. It's a beautiful lesson in how genuine laughter can make a small world called the set feel like home.